My name is Akhaumere, and I'm going to be discussing about unleashing the power of goals. Well, anytime I hear the word unleash, I always associate it with great display of powers in relation to do.
In fact, watching the Witcher series didn't really help me much because Yennefer was always trying to unleash chaos. But I'm here to discuss about unleashing in a positive light in relation to our goals. Now, goals. We've heard this word 1,000 times before. But what really are goals? Well, I love to sum what goals are in 3 words: objective, direction or processes, and results. Now, most of us are so hyped for the new year that we already set goals for the first quarter of the year, the first 6 months of the year, and the whole year in general. But what are goals? Why are they important to us? How can we set true goals, and how can we achieve our goals? Now, goals are important to us as humans because goals help to shape our person. Goals help us to become the better versions of ourselves because we then achieve results. Now, most of us set goals for ourselves, like I want to read 20 books this year. As an entrepreneur, you may want to make your first 10 million in profits, and as a student, you may want to graduate with your first class. Now, all of us set these beautiful goals for ourselves, but many of us don't understand that goals are not only results, but they are identity that are linked with us as a person. Now, the goal is not to want to win, the goal is to win and to keep winning. The goal is not for you to graduate as a first-class student. The real goal is for you to become a student who is an expert in his or her field and whose output will be that of a first-class student. The goal for you as an entrepreneur is not really to make your first 10 million in profit, but for you to be able to use your resources to maximize your profits. Now, many people have set great goals for themselves, and some are successful at getting their goals, and others are not. What is the difference between those who are successful at getting their goals and those who are not? The difference is not necessarily hard work, but instead process. The process they take in setting their goals, the process they take in achieving those goals. Now, processes are important as our goals because processes make sure that we make progress. So, how do we set goals? Well, we can start setting our goals by first asking ourselves what result we want to gain. Do I want to be a first-class student? What kind of student makes a first class? What is the reading habit of a first-class student? How well does a first-class student handle his or her courses? I want to make a profit as an entrepreneur. Who is an entrepreneur who makes profits? What are the business ideas that he or she funds? What are the business moves that he or she makes? Now, understanding the identity behind the goal will help us to be able to know what we need to do in order for us to achieve our goals. Now, this is my favorite part where I get to discuss about the things that influence us as humans, which I love to call the 2 C's and the 2 R's, which is cue, craving, response, and reward. Now, our brain is a machine that identifies what behaviors are associated with a reward. And because we can identify such a behavior, we then crave for that. Now, what we crave for is not necessarily the result of our actions or the reward that comes from our actions, but the change in state that gives us. Now, because of that change in state, we then realize that we now become better people. We're known as people who are experts in our field. We're known as entrepreneurs who do well in whatever businesses that we are given to handle. Now, how do we achieve our goals in order for us to unleash the powers of our goals? 3 principles. Make your goals visible, make it attractive, make it easy and satisfying. Now, in each of these 3 principles, I'm going to be using tech giant Google as a case study for them. Let's start off with making our goals visible. There's a common saying that out of sight, out of mind. In order for us to achieve things on a day-to-day basis, we need to make sure that we're aware of those things we want to achieve. So in order for us to be able to get our goals, we need to make sure that our goals are something that is arranged to us in our minds. Now in China, they have this method called point and call. Now what is this point and call method? This point and call method is a method that is used by train operatives in order for them to know when passengers leave the train, the speed of the train, and other important factors. Now, how has this helped them? This has helped them because it has reduced errors up to 85%. We have realized that being conscious of our day-to-day activities and conscious of activities we do will help us to know when we're doing something that is right in order for us to be able to achieve the results from our goal. Now, if I want to eat healthy and I see a burger, I can use the point and call method easily. Well, this is a burger, Emerald, you don't need it. If I take in this burger, I am going to gain more calories that I do not need and to take me more time for me to eat healthy. Now, what have I done? I have stated the repercussion of my action, and because of this, I tend to let the burger go because I really don't need it. Now, how has Google, the tech giant, been able to do this? They have been able to do this by putting it in the faces of their users about Gmail. Now, in the first 5 years of starting Gmail, they were able to get 1 billion users because they made their goal visible. Anytime you use any add-ons on their software page, they made you to know that there is a way for you to be able to connect with all these workspaces by using a convenient way, which is known as Gmail. Now, to the second principle, make it attractive. Most of the times, we're attracted to our goals because they signify something about us, or because they are rooted with our identity. Now, in making our goal attractive, we can use what is called the implementation intention method. Now, how does this method work? This method works by letting us be specific about our goals, about when and where we're going to carry out action that will help us to achieve our goals. Being specific helps us because it helps us to throw away distractions that will not enable us to achieve our goals. When we're specific, we realize that we turn want to be results into solid plans with concrete lines of action. So when an opportunity presents itself, we do not need to start thinking of, oh, how am I going to act? Because we have gone through the implementation intention method, we know what exactly to do when an opportunity avails itself. So what we do is to strike with the necessary plans of action. As a leader, we all need goals. We need goals to set for those who we lead, and we need goals to set for ourselves now to become better people. With implementation intention, you can achieve your goals because you are being specific. So I will read my book at 7:15, where at my bed table before I go to bed. I have simply stated when and where I want to carry out my goals, which is solid line of action. Now, the third and definitely not the least is making our goals easy and satisfying. We realize that many of the times we set goals for ourselves, but we're not able to achieve those goals because it's so hard for us to achieve those goals. The processes lining us up to achieve those goals are difficult. When we make the directions for us to achieve our goals difficult, we tend to leave that goal alone. Now, how do we make it easy? We make it easy by using what I love to call as goal stacking. Now, what is goal stacking? Goal stacking is adding your goals into your daily routines. If your routine is in the morning for you to make coffee and sit by your coffee table and enjoy the serene of your environment, then why don't you add a goal of reading a book to that? Okay, I am going to have my coffee, and while having my coffee, I'm going to read my book. Now, you're stacking your goal on your daily routine, on habits that you normally do on your day-to-day business. Then you find out that your goal now becomes in sync with your person, and you find yourself doing the right things at the right time without further motivation for you to do that. Now, how has Google been able to use this to their advantage? They make sure that their clients or their users always see the need for them to use Gmail. They made it easy. You all agree with me today that with one click of using your Gmail, you can access various platforms without need of you having to create a new profile to access those platforms. Easy, convenient, and what did that get them? Their first 1 billion users in the first 5 years. So by making our goals easy and satisfying while on our journey to achieving our goals, we really make our goals something that we want to achieve. We need to take in mind that we need to feed our cues in order for us to first start on our journey for us to achieve goals. We all need goals. The only question is, what type of goals are you setting? Are you using the right process for you to set your goals? Once we fix the inputs, how we set our goals, the processes we take to set our goals, then definitely the outputs will fix themselves. Thank you.